Hello, welcome. Episode 3 of Switched On. Thank you very much for listening in. I'll give you a little intro of who we've got on as our guest today. And basically, she was a model, actress, presenter. She's had her own documentary and she's a black belt in karate as well, which I was fascinated by. It's the lovely Gail Porter.
Oh, thank you.
How are you, Gail?
I don't know if I was any of those things.
Are you a black belt?
I'm 2 second dan. I've got 2 second dans. One in karate and one in kickboxing.
Right. Note to self, don't piss Gail off.
And I'm Scottish, so do you know what pissed me
You're
off?
hard as a rock.
I know.
How you been?
I've been great. Well, no, I haven't. I've been the same as everybody else. We've all gone through a really shitty time.
Yes.
But I think, you have to just keep your head above water and, just keep smiling. As I keep saying to everybody, keep smiling.
Exactly.
And we'll get through all this shit.
Yeah. So what I want to do today, Gail, is just pick up on your life, really. I watched a documentary that you've done and literally just going to start from where it all started. Basically, sort of your upbringing and the village you're from, close to Edinburgh, and how you went in from that and what got you into children's TV as a presenter.
The village I was from. I was from Edinburgh.
I thought you were from a village outside Edinburgh.
No.
You sure?
Yeah, I know. I definitely lived there. I was from Portobello in Edinburgh.
Oh, okay.
It's not a village.
Oh, right. Well, I've been to Edinburgh once. I stayed in Leith. Is that just outside?
That's in Edinburgh.
And what's that like?
That's the middle of, Right. It's lovely. It's great. It's where they filmed a lot of Train Spotting.
Oh, I see. So, your upbringing. So,
so I lived in this tiny village called Scotland. You're so English. Oh my God.
So what was it, your upbringing, what got you into children's TV presenting? What was that transition there? So what was the catalyst for that got you?
Well, what happened was I studied film and photography at college and then I went to Polytechnic and then I went to film school because I wanted to become an editor. And so I was working on Avid at the time. So that was a long time ago. And then I was also I was babysitting for people's kids, so directors or people that are working in the industry, and they'd say, would you come babysit for us? And one of the guys I was babysitting for was a director for Scottish television, and he said, we've got an audition coming up, but there's loads of people, do you fancy it? Because you're still good with kids. And I said, well, not really, but I'll give it a bash. And then I turned up in Glasgow and there's all these people,
that's just
thousands,
for an audition.
And there's thousands of people and they all had brightly coloured, tops on and stuff because all, fluorescent kids stuff. I just rocked up in a sweatshirt and baggy jeans. I was like, oh no, this is going to go badly. And so I went in, auditioned, they called me back and I thought, okay. And I was working in a bar in Edinburgh at the time. And I was also working as a runner, making tea and coffee and basically doing everything for free. And then they called me back again. I was like, right. And then again. And then it's down to the last 5. And I thought, this is really weird. And then I got a phone call saying, you've got the job. And it was a programme called TIGS, the Totally Interactive Game Show. And so I had the great pleasure of going into the pub and going, because he wasn't a very nice boss. And I was like, I'm leaving. And he's like, you'll never get a job. I went, I've got one.
That's the best feeling in the world, isn't it? Tell a shit boss that he's done.
I know, but I didn't say anything. I wasn't mean, but I was just so happy to go in and say, I don't have to work here anymore. Because he wasn't very polite. But
right.
Yeah, so that was that. And then it all kind of sort of went on from there.
It's amazing, really. And then it went on from there and you were presenting a kids' TV programme and then, you moved to London, did you, from there? Or is that when it really started to kick off into, because you had probably the biggest, job on TV, really presenting Top of the Pops. What was the transition from presenting kids' TV and then going to Top of the Pops?
Well, it was quite a long transition.
Yeah.
So I did Totally Interactive Game Show. Then there was a bit of time when there was no work, and I thought I'll go back into maybe editing or something. Then I was more auditions, so I ended up doing something. I think it was Electric Circus for Live and Kicking.
Yes,
So,
I remember that. Wow.
That was just a wee segment. So I think Zoe Ball was presenting it at the time, and I can't remember who she was presenting. I don't know. Anyway,
Jamie Feakston, was it?
I think it was Jamie. Yeah. So then I did that, and then there was just bits and pieces all over the place, and it was constant going to auditions or getting asked to pop along and have a chat with someone, and then kids' telly went on for a long time. I was there for quite a long time, and I think, do you know what, I can't remember, I'm so old, but I just remember getting a phone call saying, would you be interested in coming to meet the director of Top of the Pops?
Yeah.
Can you imagine,
That's
right?
crazy.
Every kid watched Top of the,
at the time.
I mean, I'm
that
much
was
older
huge.
than you, but I used to get so excited Thursday night,
Yeah.
and I would
I
be
used to
like,
watch it.
yeah, run through, get everything ready, record it on your
And that was the thing.
Betamax.
Betamax, that never kicked off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I remember everyone used to watch Top of the Pops, didn't they? And that was where the number one was. And you used to wait
Yeah.
for the top 10, and then it would come down, and then
you'd tape it as well on the radio.
Yeah.
You'd have it on your, but then you could sort of like get rid of the guy's voice and then fast forward it and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
and then
I
of
loved it.
course the internet come in and seen, and then everything was copied and
I
MP3s,
know.
and that's what got rid of it, wasn't it?
It's such a shame.
It is. But yeah, so I mean, presenting that was, I remember, listening to you say how, that was sort of the pinnacle for you. You really enjoyed it, didn't you? And it was sort of like an escape.
I could not wait for that day to come for us recording it. And I got on so well with the producer director, Chris Cowie. We're still friends now. And when it all sort of went a little bit tits up, I know he was devastated because I think they were getting shunted out for younger people to come and produce it and present it. So us oldies were all just kind of like, they got rid of us. And then what happened? It went down the toilet. Yeah. Who's laughing now? Well, none of us really.
Well, there you go.
I mean,
You
'cause it's
got
not
rid of Gail and it went down the toilet. There you
Exactly.
go. And that's it. So with that pressure of presenting like that, when you were presenting on kids TV and then bringing a presenter in that environment, obviously loads of pressure. And being in that moment, did your, we know that the mental health issues that you've had and stuff like that, was it kicking off from that moment, or was it really once Top of the Pops kicked off and you're on national TV? Was it there? Was you fighting it at that time, or
started at school?
Really?
Yeah, there was always something. I was always too fat, or I was too ugly, or I was
what in your mind, or you were
in
being
my
told
mind.
that?
Well, yeah, a bit of both. So, just by maybe one person would say something, and then that's it.
Yeah.
We were having a wee chat beforehand,
Yeah.
weren't we? And it can just be one little thing that triggers something that might remind you of when you were younger or being bullied, or it just be one thing. So you can have all these lovely people around you saying, everything's fine, everything's great, you're doing a great job. And one person went, oh my God, you look fat there. And then I would go, oh my God, I need to go on a diet. And it was completely irrelevant. I mean, it didn't make any sense to everybody else, but to me, it made complete sense. That one person who bullied me, I'm going to listen to them, not to my friends.
Yeah, I completely relate to that.
And then I think when you get to work on television, there was no pressure at all to look a certain way. Not when I was working. Everyone was really nice. They just were happy with my personality, and I was just excited. I was like a child. I'm always excited. I'm still excited about everything. And we're in a pandemic, and I still get excited.
It's great though. You need to be optimistic about
exactly.
everything.
I just think there's no point in being down. But the mental health thing, I was always up, down.
Yeah.
I think everybody is. It's something like 1 in 4 of us. Or is it 1 in 5? Something like that?
I completely agree. I think, it's 1 in 4, 1 in 5. And I think in particular to what we're experiencing now, it's going to be, well, we've seen the percentages and what they're forecasting. They're predicting more mental health issues because people are being locked down. And, if you're of that disposition, and you're being locked down, you're not able to socialise and speak to people, it's going to accentuate it. It's going to make it worse.
Exactly. I'm an ambassador for Samaritans.
Yeah.
And so we get, told, there's suicide rates are going up.
Yeah.
And, people are depressed, and you don't know when your next job's coming in.
Yeah.
You don't, there's it's a really troubling time, and it's all very well me saying I'll keep smiling, everybody, because I know I'll go home and I'll worry about when my next job's going to be. But then I think I have to keep trying to be positive because I live on my own with a cat.
Yeah.
My daughter's 18 now.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I live with my own. I'm single. So
there you go. But you got to keep smiling. Sometimes you just want to go home and have a cuddle.
Yeah.
And as much as I love my cat, she's scratched my nose. She's done all that stuff. I'm just like, give me a break, man.
Yeah.
Thank God for Netflix. I tell you that
I think with yourself, Gail, and what you do, I mean, you speak out about obviously mental health and everything. Sorry, I'm just skipping. We were going to run through your life, and I'll skip back onto it. But I think there's an element of adversity in life, and life isn't easy. I think people need to know that. And the trouble is when you've got this social media sort of wave that we're experiencing now, and everyone has the perfect life, and there's no such thing. No. And the problem is that mental health is far more common than what people think. And I think that there is adversity of life. Life isn't easy, and everyone needs to know that. And I think if you haven't got any experiences at the moment in your head, or any adversity or any worry in someone's head, I think you're very lucky. Because I think the vast majority of people do.
Oh, of course. I wake up in the middle of the night and I don't even know what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
And I get up in the morning and have a shower about 6 or 7:30, and I mean, it's 6:30 or 7:30, not like 6 or 7:30. That's just like random numbers I've just picked from my head.
6:75. 6:75.
7:17. I get up and I have a cold shower and then I get dressed.
Regimented.
Yeah. But I get up and I get dressed and suddenly I think, where am I going?
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm going. Do I have a job? I don't know. What day is it? And then you put on the news and you think, right, okay, it's Wednesday or it's Thursday, and I'm sure I've got something on. But I think I've only forgotten one job since this pandemic has happened. And they phoned me up and they said, we're supposed to be like interviewing you in 20 minutes. I went, it's Thursday. And they went, it's Friday. And I went, I knew that. Did I? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but you are very busy. Everyone's asking you to do a podcast now. And you were lucky enough, I'm lucky enough for you to come here and be here today. But you are busy with podcasts and things like that, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I think when all this started, people were just wanting to keep busy. So they were asking if I'd like to be a guest. And then it got a little bit out of control. I felt like a podcast whore. Yeah, you can have a piece of me. You can have a piece of me. And then I got a little bit tired. And then, but I've been listening to some good podcasts as well. I got to do Louis Theroux.
Yes.
I mean, hello.
He's great, isn't he?
I couldn't believe it. I was fangirling. I was watching him. He was chatting to me in my own house. And I was like, oh my God, it's
would you do it over Skype? Or?
Well, we did it Zoom.
Right.
We did a Zoom thing, yeah. So it was very weird to have your fangirl. I was fangirling over Louis Theroux in my own house.
He's fantastic. His documentaries are superb.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cutting back. So, Top of the Pops, and then you're sort of at the pinnacle of your career. And then was the FHM thing when you started modelling for that and the top 100? And
I was never a model. I just kept getting asked to go in. I mean, I'm 5'2".
Yeah.
And I look like the girl next door, but now I look like the bald girl next door. But I wasn't pretty or anything. And then
you wasn't? Yeah, you are pretty, Gail.
No.
Come on.
No, definitely not.
Really?
But they just kept asking me to come in.
You were.
They asked me to come in to do these things, and it was all very flattering, and there was lots of airbrushing going on, and you got your makeup done. That would take ages, and your hair. I mean, I didn't even recognise myself half the time when they were taking my photo, and so they suggested. I was doing all these kind of like shots, and I thought, oh, do you know what? I'm never going to be 20 again. And then they suggested this one shot of me just from behind, because I was a bit like, oh, I don't know. And they went, oh, we're never going to use it. No one's going to see it. I was like,
all of a sudden.
Yeah. And then it was, then it was on the Houses of Parliament. So that was quite interesting, to say the least. But you know what? Now I look back on it. At the time, it made me very anxious, and I thought the whole country seen me naked. And I didn't really think it through. It wasn't planned, and I didn't get paid for it or anything.
You didn't?
No, they didn't pay me for the shoot. They said it was good, for me to be in the magazine.
What, you signed a contract for them just to be able to use you?
Nothing.
What, you couldn't have? Mm-mm. That's crazy.
I was a bit dumb at the time, so I trust people. That's my problem. So yeah, they used it, and then, the rest is history, as they say. So yeah,
and how did that affect you? Did it make your mental state worse because of anyone that has experiences in mental health will know that, in particular, being judged by someone, and when your naked body's gone out to the public eye, did it sort of?
Well, I think everyone obviously thought I was really confident, but it was a shoot, and I don't know, it didn't seem like real life, to be honest with you. You're getting pampered, you got champagne for lunch, and everyone's saying you look great, and when you don't think you look great, and then suddenly everyone's saying it, you're like, oh, you just go with the flow. But then I felt a little bit I wish they'd told me what they were doing, and I wish I knew what was going to happen. But yeah, so I was quite anxious afterwards, and I was thinking, oh, everyone's judging me. And so yeah, you just kind of, don't know, I just went with the flow and got lots of nice messages and quite a bit of abuse saying, what are you thinking of? But
that happens when you're in the limelight like that, because you get a lot of people that are negative thinkers, and really they are jealous, aren't they?
I don't think so. I think they're probably going, no.
I do. I do.
Put your clothes back on, Gail.
No,
Put
definitely
your clothes
not.
back
Definitely
on.
not. So, I mean, I know that you've stated that, and you said it earlier on in the podcast, that, you've had issues with sort of anorexia, and you wasn't eating too much. Was this with you all the way through?
Oh, yeah. So,
and was it getting worse as this?
It got to, I was overeating when I was a teenager, when I got depressed, and then when I started losing weight, people started going, oh, you're looking great. And then that's all it takes. Someone says you look great. And then I think, I'll keep that up. And then I got a little bit out of control because I can't do things by halves. I'm kind of an addictive person.
Addictive personality,
so it's like over-exercising, overeating, under-eating, self-harm, anything. It has to go to the extremes. So, so that was, a lot of people say, was it because of television that you had felt you had to look a certain way? But no, it was, school, after school, then college, and then suddenly someone's telling you you're looking better when you're exercising like 4 hours a day and then getting banned from your gym. So
what was that about? It's because
I collapsed in the gym because I think I was about 5.5, 6 stone, and I was surviving on jelly babies really, just to give me some sugar. And then I was trying to do, on the cross trainers for an hour at 6:30 in the morning every morning, and then I just passed out, and then that was it. They took me to hospital and they said you can't come back. I thought, this is a bit shit. And then I couldn't go to any events, so you get invited to all these parties and things, and I couldn't go because I still thought I was too fat. So I wouldn't turn up. I'd come up with an excuse that I was ill. So, or something had happened, or someone was coming to stay. And basically I couldn't go because everything I put on, I looked huge.
It's
weird, isn't it?
It is weird because someone of that, in the limelight like that, you would, sort of post a girl on FHM in a parliament, and you would never sort of correlate that for someone to be so insecure at the same time. And it just shows you it doesn't matter how you look, or you really don't know what's going through in someone's mind, do you?
Well, I watched this thing the other day with Freddie Flintoff.
Yes.
And he was bulimic.
Bulimic, yeah.
I know. Well, you wouldn't have thought that. You see him on television, he's always bubbly and happy, and everything's, it's Freddie Flintoff.
It's great that people like that, yourself, Freddie Flintoff, that are coming out about these things, because as I said before, the adversity of mental health, it shouldn't be a stigma to come out and talk about it, because it does help, doesn't it?
I think definitely speaking about it, because it's quite embarrassing. And then once you actually speak about it, someone will say, oh my gosh, I
don't see you like that. I don't see it as embarrassing. I see, because I told you myself that I've had anxiety disorder in my early 20s, and I just see it more inspirational, to be honest, for someone like you to come out. You may see it, but I think a lot of people don't see it that way. I just think it's sort of incredible, someone in the public eye that can come out and speak about it like that.
Well, I think when you have got a platform.
Yeah.
So you think, it's like when my hair fell out. I didn't expect that one.
Yes.
That was a bit of a shock.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Is that what happened with that, Cal?
Well, I was in America filming a series called Dead Famous, and we were in a graveyard in Las Vegas, as you do, in the middle of the night. And actually, my hair had been falling out, and I was seeing someone at the time, and he was with us, and he was like, "Your hair's falling out?" I was like, and I thought maybe it's stress or something. And then within 4 weeks in total, we were in this graveyard filming, and the makeup lady was just looking at me. We were in like a trailer in America, in Vegas, and I was like, do you know what, you're going to have to shave it off. Because it was like, do you remember? You're probably too young to remember, but there was a Hamlet advert, and it was with the guy that played Rabsy Nesbitt, and he'd be sitting in a photo booth, and he was smoking his cigar, and every time the photo went to take his passport photo, it'd fall down, and then he'd fall down, and then he'd go back up again and fix his hair, that strand of hair. Do you remember when men used to have that one strand?
Yeah.
That's what I had. And it was not a good look, so I was just like, shave it off. And I had a bit in the middle, so she dyed it pink, so I had a little Mohican. And I was a bit shocked, to be honest with you.
It happened over 4 weeks, didn't it?
Yeah, 4 weeks, that was it.
What, so you had a full head of hair?
Full head of hair. I had to phone home to my ex-husband and say, you've got to tell my daughter that mummy's coming home and she's got no hair. And he's like, you're kidding, right? I mean, I think I could think of better jokes than that. I said, it's all fallen out, it's gone. And we went out in Vegas that night, and everyone was saying, just come out. And I said, no, I can't, look at me. And we went to some weird club, and all these girls came and joined us, and we're sitting chatting away, and I went, oh my God, are you in a band? And I went, yes, actually, I am. Yeah.
What, you like some rocker?
Yeah. And I thought, hey, I'll take that. So it gave me a little bit of confidence, because they were going, oh my God, you're so cool. And I was going, because I was just feeling sorry for myself, thinking, I'm bold. And these girls were like, oh my God, she's amazing. She's in a band. And I was like, What's the name of the band? I don't know, the Alopecians? I don't know. I don't know.
So what did they say caused that, Gail? Was the stress?
I don't know. I did a documentary about it for BBC One, and there were so many different things. They said it could be your hormones, it could be this, it could be stress. But I mean, I'm not stressed now. But these are my real eyelashes. I've not had eyelashes for
What, so they fell out as well?
everything.
Is that what happens in that?
Yeah,
Your
yeah.
eyelashes fall out?
Yeah. From like the necktie, and I'm like a big baby with boobs. It's just unbelievable, honestly. My daughter thought I could swim faster. And I was like, no, I've got no hair at all. It's just bizarre. But then I've got my eyelashes back.
That's brilliant.
So that's great. It's fine. It's because I was putting falsies on all the time. But these are mine. So I've got 3 mascaras. One's in my bag, just in case.
Did they say, can it grow back? Or
Well, it grew back for a wee while and then it fell out again. But you know what? I don't think I want it back.
No.
I quite like it.
Yeah.
And it's easy. So when I get up, I think, I've got a job in an hour. I've got another 15 minutes in bed because I don't have to do my hair.
Well, women with their hair, you know what I mean? It takes ages, doesn't it?
Not me.
So
Bish, bash, bosh, in and out.
Brilliant. So and then you said you picked up on something that you said earlier about the self-harming as well. Was that something that was always going on?
I don't really know where that came from. I just remember...
I remember you saying it was sort of like an alleviation for stress that you was having. You was waiting to get home and then...
Yes, and it was quite nice. I quite enjoyed it. But you know what the weird thing is? If I ever see it on television or I hear other people doing it, I can't... It makes me feel physically sick. But because it was me doing it to myself, it didn't bother me in the slightest. But that was a weird one as well, because I don't know where that even came from. I just remember, for whatever reason, picking up a razor one day, and I just was like, oh my God, that felt so good. And I've still got, well, it's not too bad, but I've got tattoos to try and cover them, but I've still got some remnants that remind me of what an idiot I was.
It's crazy, isn't it? And what was the psychological sort of aspect of that? Is there a cause of it and the alleviation of that? Because I remember in your documentary you see someone about it, didn't you? And then you were sort of saying, well, what's the cause of it, or did they ever?
No, I mean, I don't think they really know. I think everyone's got their own reasons for doing whatever they do, whether it's starving themselves, overeating, undereating, cutting themselves. I don't know. For me, it was my way of like feeling a bit kind of release. I don't know. It was very odd.
It's
Yeah.
well, but it is common, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very common.
It is
It's
very
more
common.
common than people think.
And it is related to sort of mental health issues and alleviation of that. But, you know, at that time, would we say that's about early 2000s or somewhere like that when that started? And then
Yeah, I think so.
You had the birth of your daughter, was it 2002?
Yeah.
Around that time. And then
Little Honey.
Little Honey. And how old is she now? 18?
She's 18, yeah.
Wow. And what was that like? Was that sort of a sort of shining light for you at that
Yeah,
time?
but I was told I couldn't have children because of the damage I'd done to myself with the anorexia and everything. So, they said I could never have kids. And then one day, I think about 7 pregnancy tests later, I was like, I think I'm pregnant. And no, she was the best thing that ever happened to me, because that was a real wake-up call. I suddenly thought, I'm not going to starve myself anymore. I'm not going to cut myself anymore, because it's not about me. So I'm not going to be selfish.
You're
it's
not
about
the
my
most
daughter.
important person in your life anymore.
She is the most important person in my life. So,
Yeah.
she still is.
That's fantastic.
Even though she's way taller than me.
But you really?
Oh, gosh,
How tall
yeah.
is she?
I don't know, 5'8", 5'9".
Well, that's almost as tall as me.
Yeah, she's very tall. Where her dad was 6'3". Well, he is 6'3", I think. About that, yeah.
She's got
very
dad's
tall.
genetics.
She's got my eye. She's got dad's legs, and I think she's got her dad's nose, but she's not that chuffed about.
So post that, a few years later, because I noticed that was it 2002, the birth of your daughter?
Yeah, 2002.
And then a few years later, how can you said you suffered postnatal depression? Was
Well,
was that straight after?
It wasn't. It was not really postnatal depression. It was more kind of like I didn't want anyone to come near us.
Yeah.
So because you can either go one way or the other, and I just did not want her out my sight. So So I don't know. I just didn't want people near me. When they said that was a form of depression as well, just wanting to keep ourselves to ourselves. So, but I got over that.
So by that time, obviously, you'd have the birth of your daughter. Was you still working and presenting at that time? Was you just looking after your daughter? Because it got to around, was it 2000 to mid 2000s? Was you still working, or was the mental health sort of alleviated in some way, or did it?
I went back to work with my daughter 5 days after I gave birth. I came into Soho to do a voiceover with her in the car. It was the weirdest thing ever. I was just in a hospital giving birth. It was 5 or 6 days afterwards, and I was doing voiceovers, and I had my daughter, and my friend actually ran the voiceover studio, so she had my daughter while I was doing Sainsbury's, making life taste better for less. See and stir for details.
That's fantastic.
Crying my eyes out, going, oh my god! So,
really? What? And that's what you was like. You was doing that work, and
well,
all
of course, I was exhausted. I just gave birth to a 9-pound baby.
£9. Wow.
No, I'm not the biggest person in the world. That was big. So I was still, really suffering. But, you need to work, don't you? But that was quite quick.
Bills.
Yeah. So I worked for quite a while when I had Honey. At the very beginning, so I was doing a car show for Channel 5, like a Top Gear type thing. And so I'd get maybe, I'd hire a babysitter to come in, or my ex-husband would look after Honey. And then I was doing Dead Famous, so I'd be flying backwards and forwards to America, but they'd come with me. So they would, get to go see all the great things, like go to Universal Studios and stuff while Mummy's looking for dead people. And they got the nice end of the stick. And then I don't know, when the hair fell out, because my hair fell out after Honey. So when the hair fell out, the work started drying up, and I was going through a divorce, and things were going bad, and divorce it's not cheap to get a divorce, and so it was all going a bit tits up. And then after that,
is that where things got the worst?
I had to sell the house, and then I ended up sort of not getting any work whatsoever, and had bills coming out my ears, and just went,
because that's what, and then that leads on to what I was going to bring up on the next thing, about obviously the mental health act thing and you sort of going into hospital. But what I did want to pick up on is obviously in mental health and the psychology of it, there's always many things that are going on, aren't they, that usually kick it off to really an extreme sort of like the suicidal thoughts, or there's very rarely sort of one thing. It's usually like a correlation of, as you say, you've got debt going on, you've got a divorce, and wow, they're just like the most severe things going on.
And having to sell my house, so I'm moving at the same time, so it's divorce, moving on, lost my hair, and debt. All at once. Come on, bring it all on.
It's unbelievable.
But I survived it, but it took a long time.
And that was when you went to hospital, wasn't it? And then what was the story about them police getting you out of a pub?
Yeah, I got sectioned. So I don't know why I'm laughing, but I went to Hampstead Heath one day, and I was with a boyfriend at the time, and I'd phoned him up and just said, I'm losing the will to live. I'm not going to do anything. But I didn't even feel like it was a real day. I was so...
Yeah, I've heard you.
So it was just not normal. And I was sitting in Hampstead Heath, and then I thought, right, I'm going to go up to the pub. I'm going to get lunch or something. So I told my ex I was going to the pub. And then the next thing, the police turned up, because of the way I worded my text, I think he panicked and thought I was going to hurt myself. But I wouldn't, because I've got my daughter. I mean, I know I did myself harm, but I'm not going to kill myself.
No.
But and so then they turned up and said, "Are you Gail Porter?" I was like, "Nope, not me," because there's so many bald women in Hampstead Heath called Gail. I was like, "No, definitely not me. No." They went, "We know it's you." Yeah, okay, what is it? And they said, "We just want to take you to hospital for a bit." And I kicked off like a proper,
really?
Yeah, like a terrier. I don't know where it came from. I just was kicking off. So they put me in the car, van, whatever, and then took me to hospital, and I had to wait for ages to see a doctor, and they decided that after about, I don't know how many hours I was sitting there, 10 hours or something, and then I saw the doctor, and he's like, "How are you feeling?" I went, "How do you effing think I'm effing feeling effing?" Going for the doctors as well, and so they locked me up.
But didn't they just lock you up and leave you?
Pretty much, there was nobody there. We got medication, so at first I didn't take the medication because I thought I don't even know why I'm here. And then by the end of the time I was there, I took everything. I was going back for more. I'd pretend, so if there was like a guy giving you drugs in the morning, they'd swap over and somebody else would come at lunchtime, and he's like, "Have you had your meds?" I was like, "No, definitely haven't." And I'd go back about 3 times. I was off my tits.
So basically, they're just throwing pills at you,
just
and
throwing
just
pills at
you,
and making sure you're awake when you're supposed to be awake, asleep when you're supposed to be asleep, and you're
And how long was you there for?
About 15 days. I was supposed to stay there for 28 days, but then the doctors came in and said I was fine, and they said, "We're sorry, you can go now." Gave me a bag of medication, and I went to Marks and Spencer's to get a sandwich. And it was really weird because we were allowed out a couple of times, but we had to go with a security guard to make sure we didn't.
Wow.
It was like one flew over the cuckoo's nest. It was completely insane. And
I don't understand how that helps people though. Because
well, it obviously doesn't, because it
no.
got shut down.
Yeah,
like
the
6 months. The
methodology was wrong.
Everything was wrong. All of these places got shut down in that year that I got out.
Because if you know, anyone that knows people with mental health, the worst thing to do is just shut them away and just leave them to their own demise.
And you're with a whole bunch of people that you don't know that have got so many different ailments. You know, some people are seriously ill.
Yeah.
You know, think they're different people. We had people that thought they were, and we had a couple of violent people, and you know, and you're all in there together. And we had security, but we didn't sort of have everybody else. And then, you know, they took us they didn't do anything with us, apart from, you know, I used to just put the hot water, because you had like big hot water tanks so you can make coffee. I just put it on my hand, just the hot water straight into my hand, just burn it.
Really?
Just because I could, and it gave me, like, I could feel something. And then everyone was just smoking on this tiny terrace, like chain smoking, because we had nothing to do at all whatsoever, apart from one day they decided to invite us to make batik t-shirts where you put hot wax on the t-shirts. I mean, come on, really? Self-harmers in a mental institution and you give them hot wax? That's not going to end nice, is it?
It's just that this whole just throwing drugs at people, isn't it? That's what they do.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
That's what they did, especially with mental health. You know, you take your pills and just shut up, basically. Yeah. But it's sort of the worst thing. So was that the lowest point, Gail? I mean, from then on, I know...
No, when I came out, obviously I had no work, and my phone had been hacked, and people knew I'd been in, and they knew where I'd been. So then I had no work whatsoever, and I couldn't afford the rent, and that was it. I was homeless, so it was 6 months kind of staying in people's houses, and just kind of like carrying around a big bag, and I put everything into storage. Do you know what? Do you know that program Storage Wars?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I keep watching it because I want to see if my stuff's on it, because I couldn't afford to get it out.
What? So you never got your stuff out?
No. So I keep watching it in case anyone's got all my stuff.
And is that when you said that the story that I picked up on is that you went to Hampstead Heath? And
that was before I got sectioned. So
before you got sectioned.
And then afterwards, I did sleep in Hampstead Heath just once when I couldn't get anyone to stay with. And
but I heard you say that you was quite content because you were just in this weird sort of world in your brain.
No, that was before I got sectioned as well. Yeah, that was before. But afterwards, then it was all kind of like, where am I going to sleep? And then I was getting really anxious because I thought, this is not the life. I'd get, if I got a bit of money, I could maybe go and stay in a hostel or an Airbnb or something. Not an Airbnb in those days, but like a bed and breakfast somewhere. And then that went on for a while, and then I was staying at a friend's, and she was trying to help me out, and Big Brother gave us a call, and they said, we'd like to interview you, and I thought, oh my god, no. But then, you know, it wasn't the best pay in the world, but it got me back on my feet, so I've got them to thank for that, because I went in and I had to see a psychiatrist and keep going for, you know, for all reality shows, you have to go and see these people to make sure that you're going to cope. And so I saw this lovely guy called Gareth, and, you know, he thought, we had a great laugh, and he said, well, you're obviously, you know, okay, you're very emotional, but if you want us. So it was kind of like, I wasn't sure if they were going to have me or not have me. So I think it's up until about 3 weeks before, I was still hanging on, and then they said, we're taking you in, and I was like, yes in one hand and no in the other hand, but I thought, as soon as I get out, so I managed to find a flat before I went into the Big Brother house, managed to borrow a bit of money, because I say, right, when this check comes in, you have it. And then, so when I came out the Big Brother house, I had a roof over my head, and it's mine, and I'm still there, and I love it.
Fantastic.
I didn't buy it, I rent it, but do you know what, I don't care. So I'm very appreciative of everything I've got now.
Yeah.
I always was, but then I think once you actually get to the lowest ebb, you think, shit,
you really
this
realise
couldn't
it puts
happen.
things in perspective.
Yeah.
And that's what, you know, I had a pick up, because your ambassador work that you do for all of these charities, and even the adversity you've had in your life, and you've had a fantastic career at the same time, and how to achieve that, having mental health issues, is amazing in itself. But you know, the list is animal rights, Children's Trust, even Credit Fix you've been ambassador for. It's amazing.
Yeah, Credit Fix, they're brilliant. They help people that are in like my debt that I was in, when I thought, you know, you can't get out of it. They just picked me up and they said, right, we will talk you through everything, because it's, you know, when you get letters coming in and you've got nothing to give anybody, and then if you don't pay them on time, they put on more interest, and you just think it's such an unfair system, because if you can't pay, you can't pay, and then they'll just, they penalise you for not having any money. You just think this is insanity.
Wrong. Yeah, the system.
So I've been really lucky, and I do Samaritans, but I think because I talk about mental health, I think I've got the same sort of stuff as most people have got.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because it's in the public eye that everyone thinks, oh, she's had a terrible. I've had ups and downs.
Well, I think it's because you're obviously a celebrity and you're a presenter and you're in that, as you say, public eye, and you're able to speak about it. But as you said, I think it's very common. I think it's common with the common person.
More common than you can ever know. Everybody, the amount of people that stop me in the supermarket and want to have a wee chat about whether, they're wearing a wig and they don't like to tell anybody, or they're feeling a bit down and they want to have a quick chat. Usually I will hug people to death, but I'm not allowed to do that anymore. It's the worst thing in the world. I can't bear it. Honestly, that's the worst thing about this. I hug everyone. Quite literally, it takes me about... From here in this studio where we are in Soho Radio in Broadwick Street, to get from here to where my friend's birthday is in a wee while, it's 5-minute walk. It'll take me a good half an hour, because I will talk to everyone and I will hug everybody.
That's brilliant though, isn't it?
I know I can't hug them and I keep going, oh God.
How are you finding COVID?
Well, it's been tricky, obviously. It's been tricky for everybody. I just find the whole thing, I think, the fact that no one knows what's happening, what we can do, what we can't do. I was just up in Scotland, and so you can't, I don't even know, you can do 3 households, you can't do this, you can't do that. But 10 o'clock, everything's shut, but everyone just went and got pissed in like student halls and stuff.
People just going out earlier as well. I was speaking to the landlord across the street, everyone's just planning it earlier. Go out and drinking for a few hours earlier.
That's it. I'm going to a birthday party at 3 p.m. I'll be pissed by 6. So if you see me staggering around Soho, just put me in a taxi. But don't touch me.
You heard it.
But apparently you can't touch me.
But for mental health, I mean, with people being locked up, and I know myself even being locked up and not being able to socialise, you just don't realise it's just this one in a lifetime sort of things, and how it does affect people. And I think mental health now, because of this, it will just be, it's so accentuated. Everyone will be,
everything is highlighted because you can't see people, you can't hug people. Families are torn apart because they're not allowed to go to certain people's houses, And I just feel for people with family. I see my daughter, that's fine. She sees her dad, so she can come and go between the 2 households because that's allowed. But then I don't know what the rules are. I don't know. All I know is I keep wearing my mask, and then I got in the tube this morning, and I was the only one wearing the mask.
I see that on the tube today.
And
so inconsistent.
Nobody was wearing a mask, and then you can't say anything because you don't know if they're going to get angry, because people are angry.
Well, they just say they've got asthma or something.
And everyone's suddenly got asthma. And everyone needs to go to the toilet, so they need to buy loads of toilet paper. What's wrong with you people? Come on, get it together. And then when I went to the Co-op as well today, I went to get some cat food, and I went in, and there were 6 people in the shop shopping, and I again only person with a mask on. And they were young folk, and they're not bothered. And the thing is, you can't say something because they might headbutt you or something.
Yeah, that's it. You've got to be careful.
Or stab you.
But you're a black belt in karate.
Exactly. I get back, but I don't
and
really
you're
want
Scottish,
to.
So your
and I didn't want to get arrested this morning because I've got a birthday party. Do you know what I mean? I've got to put things into perspective.
So, Gail,
well, when I say a birthday party, it's me and 2 others at a distance table.
Socially distanced. You've got to say that.
Yeah, socially distanced. Yeah.
So, Gail, after if you've experienced the sort of severe mental health illness that you had, and you've come out of the other side, what was the sort of experiences, or is it hard to pinpoint what actually helped you do that? It's obviously the relationship with your daughter. I know you ended up doing a lot of exercise. You was was it Scottish cycling race that you was also an ambassador for that?
I'm an ambassador for everything. If you want an ambassador, ask Gail. She says yes to everything. I'm a podcast whore. I'm an ambassador whore.
It's great.
I just want to help people. I like helping.
That's fantastic. But what was it? Because you're out the other side now, and we always have that disposition. People with mental health illnesses, and it's one of them things that it doesn't go away. But the severity of it, you're completely out of the other side compared to where you was. What? Your lifestyle changes, or just...
Well, do you know as well, as much as I do like running, I'm not very good at it, but because I'm getting on a bit, but at least if I get out and do a 5k or something, whether it's like half run, half walk, it doesn't matter. I don't care what anyone thinks. Going, oh, look, she looks really like she half walk it. I don't care. No. I'm out and I'm doing it, and I think it's the fact that all that stuff has happened to me and I'm not dead.
Yeah.
So I know it sounds a bit weird, but I just wake up and I think, do you know what? It's another day and I'm still here and I've got through that and I'm keeping positive and I'm working hard and yeah, I've got good people around me that can't touch me.
It's unbelievable though, because to come out the other side, and I just think, in particular, to the way things are, especially nowadays, and sort of the narcissistic people that you do have on social media, not all of them, but some of the people just, and it's not their fault in a way, because that's the way social media is planned out. But I think a lot of mental health illnesses are created from this sort of platform about this perfectionism, like this perfect sort of world. What do you make of that, and how?
Do you know what? I don't follow these sort of people that do the, the look at me, but it's not my face,
No.
or
Yeah.
Certain reality shows kind of everyone looks slightly similar, and they've all got the big lips, and then they put the filters on, and then they're all super skinny. I don't even bother with that. I love my social media. I've got great followers on Twitter and lovely followers on Instagram. I don't get any hassle. Anyone hassles me, which never happens, but if it does, block, delete, done. I don't follow anyone that's not going to make me smile. And I feel sorry for young girls and guys that are looking at these so-called influencers who are just posing and making money because they've got a certain jacket on or something. Graft. Get into grafting, kids. Work hard.
Exactly. It's one of the things that really bugs me about that as well, because you see, especially with mental health, it seems to be like a primary topic now with people on people's lips. And you see some of these people, not all of them, but go through the guise of trying to have mental health illnesses just for the cause of getting likes and popularity.
I don't like to talk about that just in case, you never know who is and who's not.
That's right.
And I mean,
it does happen.
But everyone has got issues. But sometimes you just think, oh, I don't know, is this, don't jump on a bandwagon. Yeah. So, I don't know. But no, I use my social media, especially in the middle of the night when I can't sleep. Anybody awake? Or I'll get messages in the night going, Gail will be up. From people I've never met before. Gail will be up. Oh, hello there. Who are you? Don't know.
You fancy a chat?
Yeah, what are you watching? Are you watching a movie? Are you watching Netflix? Have you seen Ratchet? Yes, did the whole lot in one night. Did you? Yeah. Who are you, sorry?
Delete. Next.
And I'll go, recommend me a film. And they'll go, that. And I'll go, seen it. Netflix, seen it. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so single with a cat. I've seen everything. I literally watch telly all night long.
There's nothing wrong with that at all. I think that everyone does, especially in this day and age that we're in. There's nothing else to do, is there? So what are you doing now, Gal? What are you up to now, other than being an ambassador for...
Everything.
Absolutely everything. Because you were an ambassador for animal welfare as well, wasn't it?
Scottish Prevention of Cruelty to Animals.
So I'm all for that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I love that. And I've just done the voiceover for Edinburgh Zoo. So there's a documentary on BBC Scotland. So that goes out every Monday night. And so I do all that. I get to go up to Edinburgh Zoo and see all the lovely animals. And work with the sort of conservation people as well. So that's brilliant. Exciting. And I think I'm doing a new documentary, but I can't say.
You can't say.
But it's involving animals. So that is exciting.
Excellent. And the documentary you just done, was it this year? Because I watched it.
Yeah.
The BBC doc on...
It was on BBC iPlayer.
Yes, it is, yeah.
It was BBC One Scotland and BBC iPlayer. So I think it's still on iPlayer.
It is, yeah. I watched it on iPlayer.
My daughter was like, she wanted to watch the zoo programme I did. And because it's on BBC Scotland, she said, can we watch it on BBC iPlayer? So we just put, BBC Scotland on. And so the zoo programme came on with my voice going, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then after that, they went, coming up next is being Gail Porter. And he was like, what? And then after that, there was the news. And I was talking about mental health. She went, Mum, it's like you've died and they're having a tribute night. I was like, God, do they know something I'm not? Am I dying?
What was that like doing that doc?
The mental health one?
Really,
really hard. And I was not the easiest person to work with because, they'd want to redo things that were making me uncomfortable. And there was a couple of clashes of personalities with me and the director, but we sorted it out. But I think because she'd never had sort of the sort of issues that I had, and so for her to go, right, we'll just do that again. And I was like crying my eyes out going, I can't just do it again. So she didn't mean, it's just...
No, she just doesn't understand the processes that goes through your head because...
So it was really, really hard. And but I'm glad I did it because the amount of...
It's a fantastic documentary.
The amount of feedback I got
Very
from
moving.
Everybody. But you know what the thing is as well? So many people have been emailing, tweeting, and do you know, I don't even know where the private messages go, and I don't know. And there's hundreds and hundreds of people saying, can you call me or could you do this? And I can't do that. I mean, I started at the beginning and I was emailing people back, and then it was just getting more and more. And for my mental health as well, I was like, I can't. And I was just saying, you know what?
Hundreds turn into thousands. You can't manage
and there was
that,
just, and still, I'd still get them because it's still on BBC iPlayer. I'm not dead, everyone. I'm definitely here.
It's only in December, wasn't it? It was released.
I don't know when it was released.
It was 2020.
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Everything seems like a Monday to me. I don't know.
Well, I watched it and I thought it was incredibly moving and funny at the same time.
Very kind
it
of
was
you.
really, really good.
I can be quite funny, actually. Even if I do say so.
Do you find that, like, a human sort of biology is just to be attracted to negative news, and when they bring you on certain things, it's just like, oh, they want to talk about, you know, what you've been through, and you have been through some major adversity, obviously to do with your mental health and stuff. But really, I think. Do you think people will be talking more about, you know, being on the other side and how you've got out of that?
I think, do you know what they should sort of... When I get a phone call from someone, whether it's a morning television programme or something, and I think, oh God, I know what it's going to be.
Yeah, because I've watched that.
It's either going to be about my hair or my mental health, because obviously I can't do anything else. So that gets a little bit upsetting at sometimes. But I try and always turn it around and try and make it a bit amusing and just sort of like put some humour into it, because I don't like that sort of, you know, that weird head that people do when they put it to the side and look at you and they're going, oh bless you. And I'm like, I'm bloody fine.
Yeah, of course you are.
I'm going out in the lash later, all right?
But even...
I'm not, by the way.
There's nothing wrong with that either.
I'm very well behaved.
But it is, you're exactly right. It's sort of that, oh no, really, and not actually understanding what you've actually been through. But to actually come out of the other side of things like that, and in particular to be in the public eye and to be a presenter and to have mental health issues at the same time, especially being that sort of like...
I know, I'm greedy. I'm so greedy.
But that accentuates it so much, doesn't it? It makes things 10 times worse.
Yeah.
And to be able to come out of that, I think, is brilliant. And the fact is you've made that documentary and now you're coming out and speaking about mental health. And I just think it's great. I think it's fantastic.
Thanks. And then I get to meet you.
And you get to meet me and come on my podcast.
Yay!
But yeah, no, Gail, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on.
Thank you very much. I've
really
drunk all that bottle of water. I need a pee really badly.
Yeah, I need one too. Gail, fantastic. Thank you very much. And I wish
you
you all the best for the future.
Anytime you want me on to chat about anything.
Oh, that would be great, actually.
I could be your ambassador if you want.
You made a big mistake saying that, because can you come on next week?
Yeah,
Friday,
sure,
Saturday, Sunday?
Yeah. I'll just come on the whole time.
Excellent. Gail, thank you very much.
Thank
Cheers.
you very much.
See ya. Bye.